Hey Crusaders, I'm Julius.
And I'm AJ.
And today we're going to be talking about what the effects are of Captain America the Winter Soldier and what it's going to bring to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
As well as Easter eggs.
Easter eggs and all the stuff that you may have missed, and we'll bring you up to speed with what they mean.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll start out just by talking about the Infinity Gems and what that means just for this Marvel Cinematic Universe. So far, there's been 3 confirmed gems. We have the Space Gem, which is the Tesseract, which was in Avengers. We have the staff that Loki possessed, also in Avengers. Mm-hmm. That is the Mind Gem. And then we have the Ether that was in Thor: The Dark World. And that's the Power Gem.
And, like, for people who don't know all this, what do those actually mean?
Now, each gem, there's 6 of them in total. We have space, time, reality, power, mind, and soul. Each one of those gems together powers a weapon called the Infinity Gauntlet. And that's what Thanos has, except in this Marvel Cinematic Universe, it has been confirmed that that's actually in the Asgardian weapon chamber where they hold all their weapons. But Thanos ends up possessing the Infinity Gauntlet, and with it, he just wreaks havoc all throughout the universe. Yeah. And Thanos is the guy who was at the end of Avengers after the...
Yeah. After the guy that everyone pretended that they knew.
They pretended that they knew, and they Googled him, and then they're like, oh, yeah, of course, Thanos. Yeah, the guy with the red face who smiled. All right. So him. So we have the Power Gems confirmed, and also, for those of you who haven't seen the after credits scenes, there were 2. One of them had Bucky in the museum, and he was looking at his old stuff, trying to remember who he is. And we'll get back to that in a moment. But then we had Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, which were...
they were with, the
Hydra?
German guy? I forget the German guy. Baron von Strucker. That's the guy. And he's apparently testing... and they're calling them... Because they can't use mutants, the word mutants, because that's with Fox and X-Men.
Yeah.
They have to call them miracles.
Yeah, and I hope that... And this probably might not happen, but this is my theory, and I've said it in other videos, that the way that they got their powers is Quicksilver has the Time Gem, and Quicksilver's powers, he can travel really fast. And so, since he's been affected by the Time Gem, that's how he's able to travel really fast. And Scarlet Witch, she's able to kind of alter realities, and so I would just assume that she's been affected by the Reality Gem, or they possess those gems.
Yeah, because they're going to have to change it. Like, they can't be Magneto's children.
Can't be Magneto's children, can't be X-Men, they can't do anything with Fox at all. And they've already... Disney and Marvel has confirmed that they're not doing Inhumans. Like, these guys will not be Inhumans. They haven't said that they're not going to put Inhumans in this universe.
Sooner or later, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, Thanos and Inhumans have relations with each other. But, so, that's really cool.
That, and then, if you listen closely, when they had one of the Hydra, the executives for S.H.I.E.L.D., he's working for Hydra, he was listing off several people that they've been targeting or looking at, and he mentioned Bruce Banner, and then Stephen Strange, which is Doctor Strange.
And I'm really excited about that, because they have, I mean, Marvel's confirmed we're doing a Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah.
Sorcerer Supreme, it's going to happen in Phase 3. But now we've seen it already, that Hydra knows Stephen Strange already is a threat, or he's going to become a threat.
I saw an interview with Kevin Feige, who's a production. He's like the George Lucas of it. He does everything. He's the reason why Marvel's so amazing. And he said, he's saying, like, you know, he is out there, but he isn't all that powerful. He's not what you think he is. He's not the Doctor Strange that we know. And
I could totally see them doing something completely different, because I mean, look at the Mandarin in Iron Man 3. It totally caught me off guard, just completely. And I have yet to see All Hail the King, the Marvel short, which is about the Mandarin. But that really took me by surprise, because I was expecting to see some guy with 10 magical rings who was going to be shooting lightning and fire out of his hands. And that's not what we saw.
So that basically almost confirms that one of the movies, they had 3 release dates coming up. 2 in 2016, 1 in 2017. One of them is Cap 3.
One of them's Cap 3.
One of them, we know they're working on Thor 3, so we know one of them's probably Thor. This one, probably Doctor Strange. It was either going to be Doctor Strange or Black Panther, we were thinking. but now it looks like it's gonna be.
And I think I would have rather seen a Black Panther because he's just as smart as, if not smarter than Tony Stark and Bruce Banner. So I think that would be really interesting to get this.
They did hint it in All Hail the King.
Really? Okay.
One of the prison that showed at is apparently a prison he stayed in at one point.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw something about that, so that's interesting.
I'd get to hear that.
But with the end of this movie, S.H.I.E.L.D. is gone.
Sort of.
Kind of. Yeah. They're kind of they're for all extent whatever you say.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Intents and purposes, they're gone. And in the comics, Stark Industries makes S.W.O.R.D, right? Like that's their new shield. And you saw what's her face applying
Mara Hill. Yeah, and at first when I saw her applying it, the Starks or whatever, I was like, what is it? And then when I remembered, oh yeah, S.W.O.R.D, right? Mm-hmm. That could totally be something that's they're doing.
And then that also leads into the show that I don't watch.
Yeah,
you've watched some of it. Mm-hmm. But apparently a good amount of people do.
Yeah. And I mean, it's been asked before if they're going to change the name, like on season 2 or whatever, to Agents of S.W.O.R.D or something else. Maybe, but what they also could do is Coulson's team just tries to save S.H.I.E.L.D. They could, be surrounded by all these Hydra people and not knowing who to trust still. And so I think that would also make for some really cool television of just not knowing who to trust in this superhero universe.
Yeah, I mean, that could work out for a while. I don't think they could carry on that plot, right? They'd have to catch up until,
They carried out the Extremis, I felt like, for a while. And, I mean, they've done things where it's like, okay, until the next big thing.
Because they wait it's a whole year, basically, until they have to acknowledge it with Avengers.
Yeah. So, who knows? But also something that I thought was really cool that I feel like not a lot of people want to pay attention to, but since Bucky... basically, he beat Cap at the end of, Winter Soldier. And, with him discovering his past and everything, I would not be surprised if Steve Rogers dies in Avengers 2. And he actually dies. Not a Nick Fury, not a Loki, not a Coulson thing, but he actually dies.
I'm a rare case. Like, I want someone to die. Like, in Dark Knight Rises, we'll go into this in a different episode, different thing, but my theory is he really died in that movie. Batman died, and I love that for it. Like, they had,
Wait, do you want to believe that he died? Or...
I think it's the plot that, like, he did die. Well, I have a very deep theory. We'll talk about this.
Talk about that later.
But I really want it, like, to be huge. Like, he's the one character where he dies or he sacrifices himself. It could be huge because they know Sebastian Stan, the actor, signed for a 9 picture. They don't have to use him for those movies, but they can.
And I feel like it would be really awesome to see, since it's been alluded to that Iron Man creates Ultron. Mm-hmm. I think it would be amazing if Ultron ends up killing Steve Rogers, but he was trying to kill Iron Man, and so Captain America sacrifices himself for Iron Man, and we get to see like the friendship of those two guys just kind of build as the movie goes on, and then by like the middle or the climax of the movie, Captain America sacrifices himself. I feel like that would be so awesome. And then we would really get to see, because Iron Man was really suffering from the events that happened in Avengers, and I feel like that'd be really cool to see him like really suffer. Not so much with like a paranoia, schizophrenia kind of whatever was going
PTSD.
on. Mm-hmm. That's it, post-traumatic stress. But like depression. Yeah. And then we can go back to, the alcoholism. I know Disney's like, no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to talk about alcoholism.
But you see, this movie, they went, pretty,
They
dark.
did. And so I feel like I would love to see Demon in a Bottle. Not necessarily like that exact comic arc, but it would be really cool to see something similar.
Mm-hmm. All right. So that's all we have for you today. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and leave a comment below of what another topic you want to see us talk about.
Yeah.
And that's all we have for you today.
Yeah.
Stay ace.
Stay ace, guys.